This is Joyce Tice. It's November 2018, and we're with Scott Johnson again. Last spring, we did an interview about his family business, Johnson's Trucking, through its founding up into the 40s. And so now we're going to take it a little further into the 60s and so on. But Scott, you want to give us a summary starting about 1949?
Yes, in 1949, my grandfather Stuart was killed in a plane crash. And my dad was 19 at the time, and the business was doing pretty good, but it kind of lost its salesman at that time. And during the 50s, Grandpa Stuart wasn't around to go solicit business a lot, so it kind of maintained its normal business, but it didn't expand really at all. So it wasn't until in 1960 they decided to go ahead and build a truck stop down north of town, a couple miles north of town. This is
on Route 15, was it?
Yeah, Route 15.
Okay.
And this is an aerial view of the
oh, that's
truck
good.
stop.
You've got that just about right. Okay, so it shows both a garage and a restaurant.
Right, restaurant.
That did quite a business. Now, yeah. Where is that? That road isn't there anymore, right?
The road's still there. It's the old 15 where the bike trail is beside it, where the railroad tracks are.
Okay, okay.
So, and this was a flyer that they put out.
Look, it's an envelope, isn't it?
Envelope, yeah.
Nice. Service card. Yeah, that's...
kind of shows it.
Yeah.
This is a picture of just the garage.
Okay, you can bring that in closer.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So they built that in 1960, and at the time they did have a couple of, they kept a few trucks on, and they went into hauling dairy products with van refrigerated tractors also.
Okay, well that's quite a step up from those first ones we saw with your great-grandfathers, isn't it?
That was that one, and then they, of course, still hauled milk, and that was one of the milk trucks.
Now, did they pick it up from farmers, or did they get it at a central distribution?
They actually went to a central distribution point, and then they took it elsewhere, downstate or to the cities and that.
Was it still Dairy Lee then, or had Dairy Lee closed?
I don't know. I think probably at that time Dairy Lee had gone out of business.
Okay.
And I don't remember that in operation down there after that. I would like to mention in 1966, unfortunately, we lost a driver, and his name was Al Jones.
Oh, yes.
And Al Jones was, we lost him on July 3rd, 1966, and it was on a Sunday, and it was down near Jersey Shore.
He was fire chief also.
He was also the fire chief, which is, there's a memorial down there in front of the firehouse for him. But he was a heck of a nice guy. He was 49 years old, and it was a tragedy that day, and I remember it quite well. They brought one of his children down to the house. We were on South Main to stay with us because he didn't really understand what was going on. But Al was a great guy, very friendly, big, robust guy, and had a good laugh. But I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, yeah, well, that's good because he put in a lot of years for your company.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. A good person, a good driver, and we were sorry to lose him at that time. I do see that you found an old menu.
I did. Yeah, that's in our History Center, our museum menu collection. And maybe you can look through it and tell us about some of the things. What this would have been mid-60s.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Texas Hot was 30 cents. So that a little bit cheaper back then. And I did notice a thing in here under beverage. It was a Johnson's orange drink. I had no idea what that was, but for 10 cents and 15 cents you could get one of them.
You said your grandmother ran that.
My grandmother Marie, yeah, she ran that restaurant for quite a few years. And a milkshake was 35 cents, so that was doing pretty good.
What's a milkshake now? I haven't bought one in a while.
Probably $3.50.
Really? You could be
more.
Right.
But yeah, that was neat that you had that.
And there's some advertisements on the back too that sponsors.
Yeah, Smith's Asphalt. Everybody knew Bobby Smith. He's still around.
Okay.
And Marvin's Market down in Covington.
He was your great uncle.
All right. and then Joe Andrews Excavating,
Sure. And Myers
and
Insurance.
Myers Insurance, which is right here.
Sure.
Yeah, right next to us. So.
Well, you know, I always tell people the importance of advertising.
Oh yeah.
As a historian, the only way I have knowledge of a lot of these businesses is from their old ads.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
if they don't advertise, they don't
Right.
give themselves a place in history.
Right. That's where a lot of the old yearbooks come into play.
Absolutely.
There's tons of advertising in there.
And even pictures of some of the businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. Got through the 60s, and actually the truck stop shut down in 1972.
Okay.
And the reason that, the ICC regulations at the time, before then, you could drive through any state and you didn't have your state fuel tax. You had to pay. But they changed that in, I think, 71 or 2, and you had to then pay the state tax for each state, how many miles you drove in that. Whether you bought fuel there or not, you still had to pay the tax.
Sure, like a road tax.
Yeah, road tax. So a lot of the anchor trucks running through carrying cars to Canada, they used to stop at our place and then skip New York State and go up through Buffalo. So that's when the law changed. So a lot of the fuel, since they had to pay it anyway, they started buying fuel in New York State too. And so that decreased the business, and my dad decided to build the truck lines back up and let the truck stop go.
And they probably, maybe then they were using interstates instead of 15.
Yeah, 15 was still pretty major.
Was
but
it?
the interstates ran more east to west and that. But anyway, the business kind of went down a little bit, so Dad said he'd build the trucks back up. And actually, speaking of my dad, this is a good picture of him.
It is a very nice picture. And his name was?
Arthur Johnson.
Arthur Johnson.
Yeah.
He graduated from Mansfield High School, what year?
1947.
47, okay.
Yeah.
Nice picture.
Yeah, he didn't like his picture taken much, but
Well, a lot of us feel that way, don't we? We don't look as good as we want to look.
Really. So into the early 70s, this was still down at the truck stop, but this was a picture of one of our trucks at that time.
Okay.
About 1973.
That doesn't. Oh, it has insignia on the cab, but not on the trailer.
Right. And this was actually the gentleman driving it, the same truck. His name was Bob Pereira.
Okay, sure. They lived in Mainsburg.
Right, lived in Mainsburg, and actually his father Stuart drove for my dad.
Did he?
Through the 60s.
One or two of his daughters have been in to the museum.
Yeah. That being said, during the 60s also, Dad leased 5 trucks to Chemical Lehman Freight Lines out of Buffalo.
Okay.
Kind of to keep trucks going in that. So in 70, 71, they broke that lease and then started bringing the trucks back to build up Johnson again. And I always liked this picture of my brother, so I thought I'd bring it along.
Okay.
This is Steve in probably about 1974.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good picture. That one, hold it up just there. We go.
Yeah.
Shows the logo and everything.
Yeah.
And he drove also.
Yeah, that was his truck. That's the one he drove. And I got him to stand in front of there. He liked this picture taken about as much as Dad.
Right. Did you ever drive truck?
Yeah. Yeah, I drove from 74 to 84.
Oh, wow, that's a good long time.
Yeah.
10, 11 years.
Yeah. Had lots of fun times on the road.
It's a hard life.
Yeah. When this picture of Steve was taken, then I wanted to say that a lot of the Friday nights, a lot of times, the guys and us were down in the shop cleaning trucks. You know, they were very proud and to drive these trucks, and they were well kept, well maintained, and actually Mike Good set up a maintenance department down in the old building. He found a room and he cleaned it up and put all the parts on the wall and got it cleaned up very nice, so it was all organized and we knew where everything was. But he did a nice job at that. But there was a lot of, the trucks that went through town were clean. clean and well maintained, and we were proud to drive them. You know, it was a nice time. So after, in 1976, we moved down to Tauga Junction. The dam was being built, and the government had bought our land here, and they wanted the building for their trucks and stuff for repairs. So in August of 76, we moved down to junction 328 and 15.
Okay.
And it was right across from the Williamson High School.
Right.
And that's where it operated until 2007.
Is your building still there?
The building's still there. Yeah, Paul Hall bought the building and the land.
Is it that gas station?
No, Steve and Stacy had sold that land to the Acorn Market.
Okay.
And there was, I don't know, a quarter of an acre there. They sold to them to put that in. But the building's still there, yeah. And I think Gas Well Company operates out of
Okay.
it.
So
Yeah.
what about the building that was just out of town, your garage and your restaurant? What happened to those buildings?
Well, that was all torn down due to the dam project
Okay.
and the bypass.
Okay.
The road was finished behind that building in '77, I believe. And we, like I say, we were told to get out in '76, and they wanted the land in that.
Sure, and there's nothing you can do about that. It's not
Right, no.
negotiable.
Right. You got to give it up, so
Right.
down the road we went.
Right.
But this is a picture of all the trucks together. This was taken, I believe, about in '81. And this is down in the new place at Tauga Junction.
Okay.
And that shows,
Wow. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't really tell the cabs from the...
yeah. They were all red, and then we had the same amount of cab overs and our models and that. So I believe there's 10 there.
Okay.
But we lined them up one day and took that picture and had it blown up and gave it to my dad. He thought that was pretty cool.
Sure, that's a nice picture.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like you're accomplishing something.
Yeah, we were supposed to be hooking them up and getting them ready to go out, but after Dad left for the day, we unhooked and lined them up in a picture so we could surprise him with it. So
And
he thought that.
he liked it.
Oh yeah, yeah. He thought that was cool that we took the initiative to do something like that.
Sure.
And this is a few of the trucks right near the end in 2007. That's one of them.
Okay, and what is that hauling? Or is it?
That's
It's
just
a
a tractor.
flatbed, isn't it?
That's
Oh,
just a
okay.
tractor,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay. Oh, and it's got a sleeping cab and
Yeah.
everything on it.
Yeah. That's one of them, and then this is another tractor.
Okay. And this is 06, it says.
Yeah.
Okay,
December of
2006.
06. Yeah.
Okay.
And kind of the red, white, and blue theme.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice picture.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, that other one, the white one there, has what? Was that a cab on the top, or is that for
That's
aerodynamics? The white one.
Well, the cab. The
no,
cab
that
was,
one.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was aerodynamic on the top.
Okay.
It's a windbreaker.
Right. Right. Okay.
So they put them on a lot of the trucks then to increase fuel mileage.
And then there's space up there too.
Just in the cab, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't go all the way to the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, they were windbreakers to get better mileage on there. But yeah, that takes us kind of to the end.
And remind me again, what was the year your great grandfather Charles
Lee
Johnson started it?
He started it in became Johnson Truck Line in 1934.
Okay.
It's funny, I actually found a ledger the other day where
Did you?
in the 20s he used to haul coal around town
Okay.
to different
Did he
businesses
work
and
for
houses.
Charlie McDowell or Decker?
I don't know if it was him, but I see the ledgers where they delivered coal to a lot of people around town.
Oh,
And
okay.
they were $10, $15, $20.
Sure, bring it in sometime.
Yeah.
We'll scan
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Oh, it's really interesting to see how all the businesses interact
Yeah.
around town.
Yeah,
Old scrap paper that's full of information.
yeah. But Charles, he did that, and then he started Johnson Truck Line, and he lived in the pit house down on South Main Street. he bought that house after there was a fire, I believe, and then he built the house beside it in 1929, the smaller house. So that's where they lived until they passed away, and both of them passed away in '63. Both grandparents. So Charles was 90 when he passed, and I believe Ida was 89, something like that.
Well, that's a good long life, and they certainly contributed a lot to the community. They provided many jobs. As I told you the last time we talked, when I looked at the 1940 census, so many of the people were working, driving truck, milk trucks. And so that was Dairymen's League and Johnson's Trucking.
Yeah, it was a good business, gave the town a boost there, and they were right there uptown. The building was torn down in 1970 for First Citizens National Bank.
Right.
But they moved in there, and it's funny, during the 60s, after we moved just north of town, Ralph Evans first rented the building for his dealership, and then he moved south, and then it's kind of funny, Chick Dahlgren rented it for his business. And then he moved south.
That was typical in all the towns. You see the car dealerships going outside of town.
A little more room and not so congested.
Well, I do have pictures of Jim Ripple tearing that building down, and I've been thinking I would have brought them so we could show them here now. But, well, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, that kind of brings us up to date, I think. And it was I had a lot of fun times working for my dad, too, and a few scary moments driving truck.
I'll bet. You have to drive truck whether there's ice on the road or not.
That's right. And it was a lot of fun and a lot of good experiences, from riding into New York City and that when I was 12, 13 years old, helping to unload. And I'd never been down the big city before. That was quite the scene to do that.
That's exciting.
But it was fun growing up around it. It was fun being around people like Al Jones and people that cared about it, and Bob Preer and people like that who took care of their equipment and had a lot of pride driving for my dad, and had a good time. We
really appreciate your taking the time to tell us about this, and this is kind of the supplement to the first one we did, and brings us from the beginning to the end, so thank you for coming in.
Sure. I wish I could order off this menu and save a couple dollars.